Hey now, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and you know I am here to talk about Arrow! Season 5, Episode 2, entitled The Recruits! At the very beginning, we see Green Arrow recruiting Wild Dog. Yes, Wild Dog. What a name for a vigilante. If I'm Oliver Queen and I want to recruit new people to the team, I would never recruit a guy who calls himself Wild Dog. Or I would force him to change his name. Sorry, awful. I found it almost hilarious, though, that this guy's wearing a hockey mask, and Stephen Amell just played Casey Jones in the Ninja Turtles movie. So seeing him take the hockey mask and holding it, I was waiting for him to put it on himself and go to hang out with some turtles. I did like the moment where he wrapped him up upside down, and then Wild Dog was like, hey, you're letting that guy escape. And Green Arrow just went and shot him with the arrow, and they continued this conversation. I thought that was great. And then we cut to a pretty amusing scene of Curtis, who is attempting to do that bar hopping thing that Oliver does very well. Makes look easy. He does, but Stephen Amell himself could really do this. He trained himself to get like that. I've seen videos of him on Facebook doing it just as a training regimen. It's insane the workout he does and just that workout in general. So I found it really funny, like Curtis couldn't do it. And then he said that this was impossible, seeing Oliver do it. And then Felicity made a joke where she said, no, it's hot. Or, I mean, it's not. And then later on, she made a joke when Green Arrow was trying to train his new recruits, and then Felicity mentioned that he should use them for the mission, and Oliver's like, no, they're too green. And she's like, well, we could say the same thing about you. And I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, they're writing her at least how they should, right? They're writing her like season 1, like season 2. They're writing her in that jokey, quirky way that we knew and loved her, that made us fall in love with her all at the beginning of this series. But it's been too much. We've gone through too much whininess, too much complaining, too much. It's almost like when you're dating a girl. And the first few months are cool because you're so into her that everything she says, you're interested in. Every joke that she makes is funny. Until it's been a while and you have one of the worst relationships and so now you're annoyed with her. Now every time she wants to talk, you're like, shut the fuck up. Or every joke she wants to make, you're like, you're not funny. It's just you're over it. You're done with it. The sparks are gone. Well, that's what this is like with Felicia. I feel like if this was season 1, I would have laughed at these jokes, at these moments with her. But I just... and I don't hate her anymore. It's been enough time to where I don't hate her. I'm not fully with her yet. Not yet. Hopefully they keep doing this, and maybe eventually I will come around. But it hasn't been enough time yet. I still need some space. Oliver and Thea pitching this free hospital. And I like this. This was an example of Oliver as the mayor pitching some good ideas and actually getting stuff done as the mayor. I enjoyed all of that. I even liked the whole moment where he asked Thea almost for her approval on him making a new team, and she was totally for it. She's done. She's out of it. She's out of the game. She does not care. You see Green Arrow training the recruits, and I liked how hard he came off. He reminded me very much like Batman. Whenever Batman trains like a new Robin or Batgirl or any new person, when he brings into the Batcave and he wants to test them, test their endurance, test their strength, test their will to see if they can actually get this done. That's how Oliver came off here. He was very hard on them and very forceful about how this should be done. And I was with this. Now, Felicity and Curtis were all like, oh, you're being too hard on us. You're you don't trust us and all of this stuff. And it's like, what the fuck are they talking about? This is being a vigilante. This is fighting crime. This is life or death. This is your life that you're about to put on the line. And you want him to take it easy on you? You want him to what, play some games or what, interview you? Like, what are we talking about here? Why did this episode make it seem like Oliver Queen was being the asshole? He wasn't. This is serious business. Look at how many people have died doing this on the show. Sarah Lance, Laurel Lance, whatever the hell happened to Roy. And Thea was so traumatized she had to get out of this. Like, this is serious stuff. This isn't just something that anybody can do. So I didn't like how the episode was trying to paint Oliver, because I was completely on his side. Even the moment where he was talking to Felicity and he pretty much revealed that he has trust issues now because he did let these other people into his life, and then they either died or they left the group or this and that. He was sick of being hurt. I got it. It made sense. Don't make him open up. He needs to be harder. He needs to be, like I said, like Batman. Also, did anybody else realize that Oliver's Green Arrow costume, he went back to the original first 2 seasons? Like, they made such a big deal of him getting a new costume in season 4. And I admit, that was one of the only cooler things that season 4 did, was to give him a more colorful costume, looks more like the comic book, and I was into it. And then all of a sudden, without really any explanation, he's just back to the old costume. Now they're having the fundraiser with the other company, and then this creepy villain guy shows up. He has like these weird CGI tentacles or tree branches. I don't really know what they were, but he tried to attack some of the officials at the company, and they tried to stop him, but he just disappeared. We get a side plot of Thea trying to help Lance because he started drinking again. Understandable. He lost Laurel and all that sucks. She offers him a job, so we'll see where that goes. I am interested with anything really involving Lance. That guy's a great actor. We get a quick scene of Felicity and her boyfriend, and I don't care about any of this. I don't. Again, I'm not like sitting there stewing. I'm not mad. I'd rather this than her date Oliver again, but I also just don't really care about this guy. He doesn't seem like a bad guy, but again, I don't really care about it. Thea, overhearing a conversation with the armor tech woman dealing with Mr. Church. And it seemed odd that this woman was out there in broad daylight talking to a well-known criminal out almost in the middle of, I mean, I know it was kind of in the alley, but like anybody could have walked by and saw this. It was the laziest sort of secret meeting I think I've ever seen. Ever! Of course she saw them. Of course. You get a little moment of her doing some parkour stuff. It was clearly a stunt person, but okay. It was just cool to see Thea, the character, still in action doing some stuff. Now, when this underground meeting is about to happen, the woman and Mr. Church, Oliver shows up, and he's fighting people, taking people out, and then this villain guy, he's wearing like ragged clothes. Honestly, he looked like Scarecrow from Arkham Asylum, which is like the best design of the Scarecrow I've ever seen. He was super creepy, just really weird, and that's what this guy looked like. He even had a distorted voice, and it worked. It was creepy. And then you get a little bit of his motivation. He's going after this woman because she was involved in the company that had the nuclear bombs, the nuclear missiles that launched and I guess destroyed his land, his city, from season 4, and he barely survived thanks to his father, who put the rags on him and saved his life. So he now uses the rags and he's out to defend his father. Okay, I thought this guy was interesting, but an interesting villain. I could not believe that Oliver, I didn't realize this at the time, but later on he reveals to Felicity that he let himself get beat up by Mr. Church, almost let himself get killed, just to let this guy in rags save his life and prove his humanity and prove that he was deep down good at heart. What made Oliver think that this guy was good? deep down. What made Oliver think that this guy dressed in rags with a hood, maybe it's the hood, just a connection there, but this guy in rags that had tentacles coming out of his arms, I don't even know what that was. Is he a metahuman? Like, what was the explanation behind that? We don't know. But he knew that he was going to be good and save his life and spare the other woman, and I just don't understand. I don't understand. Oliver would never risk his life for this. It completely came out of nowhere. Not what I was expecting at all. And then, speaking of not what I was expecting, Oliver brings the new group, and reveals himself. Takes the hood off and the mask and says, "Hey guys, I'm Oliver Queen. I trust you now." And now they're all together. They're all for it. I don't like this. I don't. Again, like I said, I wanted Oliver. Like, I understood Oliver's roughness. I understood why he was the way that he was. I honestly don't even think that the answer, when everybody was complaining, including me, about season 4 and how bad it was, and we wanted some changes to be made, the changes, I don't think were to give him a new team. That's not what I wanted to see. I didn't want to see a new team. I didn't think the answer was to bring even more characters on the show. No. Just keep the guy by himself. Why is that so hard? Before I mention the very last scene, we get some other scenes throughout the episode of Diggle in the military. And I like this. I was worried that Diggle would just kind of be gone and we wouldn't really see him. At least it would be a while. But no, he has his own side story going on. And it's a lot going on, I admit. The constant cutting from like this to that, the flashbacks, and then back to Diggle, and then back to the current story. It's a lot going on. I don't even fully know 100% what's going on with Diggle's story, but I'm just glad that he's here. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of the flashbacks, we're back in Russia. We're doing the Russia stuff. I like the connection of where he learned this whole training drill that he was doing to his group. It was something he learned in Russia, although the guys in Russia that he worked with got killed, so I don't know if maybe that was the best method to go about. But okay, I've already said that I'm disconnected with the flashbacks. I am. Once they've gone off the island, I just don't really care anymore. But I will admit, so far the flashbacks are better than last season, which were on the island, and better than the Japan flashbacks. Last scene is we see Mr. Church coming out of a club, and what we find out, his name is Prometheus, the black archer, Black Arrow. He comes in and damn near kills Church, makes him look like a bitch, and basically says, "Hey, you almost killed Green Arrow. Well, stay away from Green Arrow. Green Arrow is mine, and if you touch him, you're dead." Prometheus, the prequel to Alien, I guess that's what he is, right? He's Ridley Scott's prequel to Alien. Prometheus shows up, and he threatens this guy, and he wants Arrow. So we'll see. It's interesting, but obviously things are still a mystery for us to find out what's going to happen. So again, I have a lot of issues. I do. I have a lot of issues with some of the stuff going on, but I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying not to be this guy that rants and raves all the time. At least, let's give it up to let's wait up to episode like 10. And if this type of stuff, if this type of writing, if these type of decisions are still being made by episode 10, then I'll complain. Then I'll rant and rave. But right now, I'm giving the season a chance. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this episode? Do you have the same complaints I do, or do you think it's a non-issue and that you're loving what's going on here? What are your predictions for the rest of the season? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!